All right. Hey, everybody. This is Eric from TopFlight Trades, and that's excellent placement for my mic, isn't it? Okay. Hey, Eric from TopFlight Trades here. It is January 9th. This is the weekend stock review. Sorry for the, I got some cruddy light going on in here this morning. Moved my camera, and I didn't even look to see the microphone's in the way, but we're not going to be looking at me. We're going to be looking at charts today. So let's get right into it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of spice things up a little bit today. Well, not really spice it up, but normally I kind of go over the stocks. We take a look at the markets. We take a look of what we're looking at for next week, that kind of thing, and I kind of go over what I'm playing and all that. What I'm going to do this time is I'm going to go back and review a little bit about some of the stocks we talked last week and see how well they performed. Kind of add that in there as well. And then I'm going to kind of throw in there and talk a little bit about InvestFeed and kind of go over some of the trades, those same trades that I made, and how you could have performed on those trades if you would have followed me along on those trades. So let's just jump right on in. Hope everybody's having a good year so far. Well, I know if you're short on the market, you're having a good year. If you're not, then you're not having a good year. And I don't mean it like that. I guess that's there's pain all the way around. But you know, today's the day to change things. So that's hopefully what I can offer you is the opportunity to find some new opportunities in the markets and make some money. Okay, so what we're looking at here, we got the S&P. Where did we leave off last week? So let me zoom in. So last week in our video, we took place about here. It's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Okay. Well, as you can see, the markets did not have a good week last week. What did they say was the worst week in, I don't know how many years, 11 years, something like that. Worst performing week for the markets. And primarily, I think we were looking at the Dow. Here's the Dow. But you get the idea here. So let me jump back over to the SPY here. You can see I've drawn a support line down here just off these previous two lows. For next week, I'm thinking that we're probably not going to be a strong bounce of a week next week, I don't think. Certainly not. I think that we're going to there's going to be a lot of weakness in the markets right now, as we see that already. There's a lot of political and world economic issues going on right now that can definitely steer and influence the markets. And I don't think this is just, you know, like we saw in the past back here. Was this back in August? I mean, what a horrible time. We got a pretty good, fair bounce out of it, but we did recover back up to these levels. But again, you know, it's weak. I don't think we're going to get a real strong bounce out of it. I wouldn't be surprised if we even break through this and fall further. So, you know, again, I'd say position yourself accordingly. What I'm thinking is I see this support line here that I had drawn, obviously. I'm thinking we might come down and kind of hold it maybe for a day. Maybe we'll bounce off it. Maybe we might just punch right on through it. And it might be nothing. You know what I mean? There's really no telling. Look at the volume the last couple of days. So I think we'll continue down. At least next week, we'll come a little bit lower before we start to maybe base and hopefully come back up, or we'll just absolutely collapse right on through. Let's jump back over to the Dow. A little different here. I didn't draw in anything, but you can see we have the linear regression on here. This is the daily chart. So you can see we broke right through that. Let's take a look at the weekly. Here's the weekly. Okay. Looking at the weekly, you can see we're not making new highs. That's a big problem in my book. And we're obviously seeing it today. I mean, not making new highs is not good. Let's zoom out here and get a little bit better perspective. And I know it's so easy to look back and say, oh, it was so clear, but it is kind of clear, especially if you look back from this point back here. Here's June, July. And then we had this action. We recovered, but we still failed to make a new high, and it supported this trend here and so on. And now what's going to happen? You know, I mean, yeah, anyways, I don't know. Not looking good. If you're holding a lot of short positions and you're short on the markets, well, it's good for you. But we will get a little bit of bounce out of it again. I'm thinking we might kind of get a little bit of action like this. We'll kind of trade sideways for a little bit before it fails. I'm not too convinced we're going to get a strong bounce, but I don't know. What do I know? All right, so that's that. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ. NASDAQ, same thing. Here's the linear regression. You can kind of see we kind of broke right on through that as well. Yeah. So that's the markets. So I am definitely not bullish on the markets right now. I don't see anywhere right now where we're going to see a bounce. I don't see it in the technicals. Don't see it in the chart or any indicator that I might lean to. We got some big red days here, big red volume. You know, maybe by the end of the week, we might start to, like I said, might start to creep up a bit. But I think we still have a little bit ways to go down, unfortunately. Okay, so let's take a quick look at, why don't we take a look at some of the stocks we looked at last week? And I can shoot through them. Yeah, we'll do that. Okay, so last week we talked a little bit about NM. Well, you can see NM. Yeah, so we were up here at $1.69, and it's already lost 70 cents. It's gone down quite a bit. Just on Friday, it was down 9%. I don't think I played NM. No, I didn't. I wanted to. It was on my list. I didn't. Too cheap. I don't play in pennies too much. When I'm shorting, there's some good opportunities sometimes, but I did not play this, but the setup was good, and we certainly got it out of this last week. I was thinking it would come down to this level. $1.17, $1.15, something like that. It broke right on through, right to 99. So of course we are just under $1 on that. This is still in play. If I were playing this right now, I'd still hold this. So next we have DDC. I did play this. I do own this. I hold this. Where are we? Yeah. So anyways, boy, Friday was up. Look at that, 3.28%. So I'm playing this on the downside. Having a day like that doesn't help. Shows there's a little strength. Even when the market takes a dump, this holds up. So this is Dominion Diamond Corp. I'm in that. And of course, I will continue to hold. I intend to hold. I'm playing, a put option on Diamond here, DDC, and I'll hold it for at least 100 days. So I will expect this trend to continue. Fundamentally, the company's not strong, not very strong. Let's see how they did their last earnings. It doesn't show what the actuals were or what the estimate was. So anyway, it was a nickel was the earnings. I'm not sure what the estimate was, but I got a nice pop out of it, and I'm expecting that to return back down. When I'm thinking of this, I'm looking this to get down under eights. So we will see for DDC. Next, we have STX. I did not enter this one. But we definitely got the play we wanted out of it. Again, pretty much from last week, where were we? We were at $36, let's say, because here's Monday. That's when we would have got in. It's $36, and we're nighting down to $32.50 right now. So that's some quick action. Friday was down 5.79%. And we have Vedal. How'd Vedal do? Oh, my goodness. Vedal. Oh, I had a feeling about this one, but that's easy to say now, right? I did. Here's a lot to pick from last week, and I did not play this one. I did post it on Invest Feed, though, and we did play on Invest Feed, in which if you would have followed that trade, you would have gotten at least almost 14.5% out of it since then. And I'll go over those trades here in a few minutes. Actually, what I'll do right now, let me just jump on over to that, the Invest Feed thing right now real quick. And because I don't want to duplicate. Where'd it go here? I want to duplicate stocks here. So let me shoot on over. Where is it? Stand by. Oh, here we are. Okay. Let me see if I can find you here. Sorry about this. I normally don't. Here we go. Okay. Invest Feed. So here we are at Invest Feed. I believe you can see this right now. So basically what I did was I just pulled up our trades from last week. So this goes back, for the most part, top of the year. So starting January 4th, you can see pretty much when we last met, just thereafter, we entered into STX, and it pretty much tanked down. So we got 9% out of that. And pretty much in all my trades, I'll enter 2 positions, and I'll add and subtract as I need to as I go. So anyways, STX on last week's call, we did squeeze 9% out of that. Next, we did the Beetle. That's the one I knew. I thought I played it. We played it here on InvestFeed. It was one of my picks. And look at that. And we would have got in at 543. That was that opening, and it's now down to 465. So there's a good quick 14.3% on that one. Next, we had BNED. Let's see. I don't know if you can see that little chart. I'll shoot through these charts again really quick, but 7%. Then we did the quote QUOT. We also got on that on the 4th, 16.5% or so. Then SWN, we got in on the 5th, 755. It's now just under 7, so there's another 8% right there. Joy, we talked about Joy. You can see, if you can see in the little chart there, Joy is just tanked. I do own Joy, of course. And in this case, on the 5th, we posted it entry at $12, and it's currently at $9.73. So there we're looking at nearly 19%. RFP on the 7th of January posted, currently getting just under 3% on that. Then we have SXCP, again on the 7th on InvestFeed, we entered for 11%. SXC, 14%. CNX on the 7th. We're currently in the red on this one, 3%. But here's the chart right there. It's still got some room to go, and it's only at 769. So it doesn't really take much movement to move that from red to green. Then we added more on the SX CP on the 7th. You can see, and we're already just on the 7th. That was just a couple days ago. And we're already up 8% from that Friday's action. And then finally, DSX added to in this position as well. From 385, it's down to 346 right now. Good 10% on that. So as you can see, all these trades here at InvestFeed that I've posted. Of course, last week was a really bearish week, but overall we're doing really well over here. Let me pull up the stats here currently. So right now our realized 218 winners, 18 losers, and 2 that are even. So it's currently 92% accuracy. That's good. And right now we're averaging overall of all those trades of 240 trades, 22%. And then the unrealized, this is ones I'm currently holding. You can see there's still quite a bit, but we still have a really good ratio of winners, 81%. And those I'm holding right now, all 450 of those are averaging overall 15%. So yeah, on the downside, we're looking really good. If the markets turn around and just start booming on the bullish side, well, I'll be moving some positions around, that's for sure. But anyways, that's what we're playing right now on InvestFeed. So that's that. So let me jump back over one more time. And okay, here we are. Here's me. Let me go back to the chart again. Thought I stopped the broadcast. Okay. Anyways, Beetle. All right, I'm going to shoot down the list again. So last week we also talked about Avid. Avid the other day was up 13% pre-market, and you see it's already pulled back quite a bit. And sometimes when these stocks meet the criteria for me, sometimes when they meet the criteria, sometimes they'll pop and pull right back down. When I saw this up, I guess it was Tuesday morning, up 13% pre-market. Well, of course, I first saw it. I'm like, oh, that's not good. But you can see it has pulled back a bit, quite a bit. So that was one we were talking about last week in the video. No position in that. Then we looked at BBL. Well, this thing's just, where were we about here? About $22. It's already down underneath 19. No position. That's not it. And then we had BEL. This was the Belmond Motel Services. Look at that movement. Wow. So that was Friday. So Monday it gapped down. So yeah, it went down a good 80 cents or so. We kind of talked about SPX SPXC, is this it? No, that's not it. SPXC. Yes, that's it. Okay. This is one we played on InvestFeed, and you can see the move right here. So we got in here on this day, on the green day, and it's since pulled back. We also looked at BNED. This is Barnes & Noble. Pretty much, again, we were kind of back in here when we did the last video last weekend. And again, it's pulled back. It went from good $10 down to $9. So got a dollar movement out of BNED there. CNX, we talked about this. This is the one on InvestFeed. And I hold this one, of course. And this is the one right now on InvestFeed anyways, where the trade is posted is we're in the red 3%. So again, I'm not worried about it whatsoever. Nothing really changes here. This thing can move not much. You can still see the trend. It's downward sloping. We're still at the top of the channel here. We got the moving average. We closed, looks like right at that's the 50-day moving average. Looks like we closed right at it. We have earnings coming up. Expecting 2-cent loss per share in the estimate. So this is just a waiting game for this one, really. If you ask me, we haven't found any new highs. Okay, draw a line. No new highs. And just let this thing go. Let this thing work. You can see where it's come down to support, broke through it, touched it, not doing anything. I guess you could argue that we could be seeing some higher lows, but I don't buy it. The fundamentals of this company stink so bad. It's a coal outfit. I mean, if it does, I don't even know what I'd say. But anyway, so I'm in CNX, of course. Then we have PDS Precision Drilling. We're talking about them. So boy, look at that move since last week. Incredible. So I went from where were we? 390 down to 328. Dig it. OCN. Okay, now this is one that some people really get fired up over. Some people are just very, very bullish on OCN, and they just can't understand why anybody could see anything bearish in OCN. Well, I sure do. So basically my box I've drawn down here is just the target area I'm expecting. Nothing really. But yeah, so OCN kind of held in there last week a bit. It started off the week all right, actually, but it just kind of gave up to pressure, and it's closed right there at its 50-day moving average right now. So again, I'm expecting this to break through and continue downward. And I'm thinking it's going to come down under sixes, come down to the bottom of the channel, essentially. So it's OCN. Here's a better view of the chart. SSI, we talked about last week. And wow, look at Friday. We got an 8% drop in it Friday. So kind of tight range here, traded sideways a bit. Then finally just broke down. So where does this go? We don't know. This is the apparel store. So, interesting. You see last quarter estimate was 19-cent loss, and their actuals were 29-cent loss per share. Coming up, estimate is $1.05. That would be quite a turnaround. So I'm not sure what's up with that, but this company fundamentally does not score well at all. Next, QUOT, quote, we talked about this one. Again, our last video, we were on this day. And then, well, here's Monday. That's when you would have got in. And that's when I didn't write the date down. Got in on the 4th. Yes, on the green day. That one that would have squeezed a good 16% out of it. So from 695 almost, you could say, perhaps about 7 down to 550 or so. And then AGFS. Let me see here. I don't remember looking at this one right now. AGFS. Okay. AGFS. It's just pretty much following me at the 50-day here, and it's the channel. It's just slowly working its way down. It's actually up 2% on Friday. So those are the ones we talked about. So yeah, so last week was good for our picks. And again, come on over to InvestFeed, and I post all the trades over there and then some, and you can follow along. So obviously last week's action, 9%, 14%, 7%, 16%, 8%, 19%, 3%, 4%, -3%, 8%, and 10%. So you would have been doing quite well if you just would have bought some puts or shorted it. That's the action. And those quotes, the percentages right there, the gains and losses, those are just straight stock purchases. You include stock options and it's much different. I could tell you just this week, this year already, my whole portfolio went up 46%. That's how much of a gain that I gained by playing this year on the short side. I think it's 46%, 44%. It was massive. Everything I had was on options, had puts, and the market just took a dump this last week. And fortunately, I benefited. Unfortunately, a lot of people didn't. But there's a lot of action in options, and I would say it'd be good to learn them, go slow, practice on paper, read about them. Excuse me. But options can be very explosive for you. I've been trading options now for I think hitting on 11 months now, and I don't. It's definitely been a game changer. That's all I can say. Okay, so what we're going to look at now. Now I'm going to get into the watch list, what I'm looking for this week. And I don't have that many stocks, maybe about 15 here. I'll go over them, and they all have one thing in common pretty much. Is that they're all going down. Well, I don't know that. The first one, actually, gold. Gold looks ready to come back down. I actually do own right now some puts in GLD here. Where are they? Yeah. Well, anyways, I think they're February puts. Anyways, might be good to get more. So I might be looking at that here this next week. But I'm expecting gold to turn around. And what's interesting with my system, a lot of gold companies are the same, that they're ready to, they're looking to turn around and start heading back down. Excuse me, let me get a shot of water here. All right. Okay, so GLD. This is one. If you play GLD, I'm expecting this thing to turn around. You can see we got the 100-day moving average. It's kind of come up to it, pull back a bit. Yeah, so we'll keep an eye on that. And then with that, we have this is El Dorado Gold. This is triggered for me to turn and start heading south. It's priced at $3.25. Pretty cheap stock. Got good volume on it. 3.6 million shares average. So that's what I'm looking at yet. I don't have a trigger for this to go short on it yet. But by Monday morning at the open, we could very well be in a bearish position with it. Next, we have SIEN. Now, we talked about this one recently. Look at that move on Friday, 11%. So what the heck happened here? Look at that range on Friday. So it opened up high. Opened up, excuse me, it's 792, closed at 658. So that was quite a gain there in that, but it gave it all back. Let me look at the 15-minute. Oh, boy. Look at the 5-minute. Back up. Oh, boy. Oh, geez. I bet a lot of people made money short in this one. Get quite a pop like that. You get in at 8s. Boom. Anyways. So, now this is kind of interesting though too, because we are starting to make higher highs here, and even though we closed down, yeah, I don't know. I gotta rely on my system. I gotta trust my system here. So let me see here. Sorry. Okay, let me take a look here. If this thing actually closed up above it, green, well, then that'd be a different story. It did not. Opened up and pulled right back down to this area. There's a lot of people holding up here now. So a lot of volume. I don't even know what the news was. I guess it doesn't matter. Whatever. Anyways, this made my list to continue its downward trend. Look at the linear regression. Sorry. Look at the linear regression here. If you like linear regression, you can see we do have this downward channel here, and we're at the right side of it. And if it's going to continue to respect this, it's going to come on down, and that's about what I'm seeing. So it's SIEN. Next, we have AGI. Okay, Alamos Gold. This is another one I'm expecting to turn. You got the moving average. It's at the 100-day right above it. You might say it might have a little more room in the channel if you want to look at it that way. We could just have a strong day where just get a strong wick and it comes up and kind of pierces that, but I think it's going to hold the 100-day. Might take another day or two. Then we're going to get some movement out of it. Looking at a 6-cent estimate on earnings, which occur in 40 days. Yeah, so yeah, again, and when I look at these to hold for more than 100 days. Okay, options. I like buying them out a bit. Okay, time is the number one thing that it works for me. It can work against me, certainly. But when I go shorter time periods, it's usually time is what my enemy is on some trades and losing trades. And when you want to pick some of these companies and they just absolutely stink, you can get a pop out of them, but just give them time. They're going to to that, continue that trend. So timing is everything, but it's as far as entering the trade and exiting the trade, I think, but having enough time for the stock to reach its target is critical. That's AGI. Next, we have DDC. This we talked about this one already. We got a 3% pop out of this on Friday. You can see I got into this. I'm still expecting this to continue to do what it's going to do, and that's drop. Here's the channel. I'm not too worried about that. This 3% gain here on Friday. We did not make new highs. I don't anticipate that this will. I'm going to draw that right about there. Draw that right about there. So if this thing takes off and closes up above it, well, then my trade will be no good, and I will exit it. But for now, this can stay underneath here, and it's going to it might trade sideways for a day or two, but it's going to finally drop. So that's DDC. Next, we have Avid. Okay, I think we talked about this one already. Yes, we did. This one, again, it's got my attention. You can see we talked about that pop. It pulled right back. I won't cover that again. TDOC, we talked about this last week. Friday, we finally got some move out of it. So last week, we were down here. Middle of the channel here. It popped on us and since pulled back a bit. So what I wanted to look at, though, was... Wait a minute. Hold on a second. It doesn't make any sense. Interesting. Stand by here. There was something I wanted to see in the weekly chart, and this company's not that old. They don't have much history on the weekly. What was I looking at? Sorry, my note told me to look at the weekly chart. Well, anyways, so here's a better look. I'm expecting to pull back here. Again, we did not make new highs. So you're saying, well, it could take off and pop past here and go. Well, that's true. But let's see if it gets past 22 here. Well, 22 is the high of that wick. I play the bodies of the candles. So right here, I want to see this thing close above it, see new highs. If that's the case, then this thing's turning around. But I don't expect it to do that. It might come up to this area and bounce off it. But earnings coming up in 23 days, 41-cent loss per share. So that's TDOC. Still watching that one. ABX, another gold. Barrick Gold. So this one you could see. Now note the linear regression is on an incline here. That's kind of unique. I haven't seen that in a while. Interesting. Well, I will still expect a pullback. So it's currently at what, 842. We could see 750 or certainly less than that. We are getting higher lows. We did recently get a higher high. Yeah, interesting. Did it just fill that gap? I'm kind of looking back here on the left here. You can see this, excuse me, this gap here. I'm not a guy just who relies on the theory of filling gaps all the time and everything like it always happens. But as far as looking at where the stock closed at is kind of interesting. And we have that gap there, and it did come up to that level and then had 3.7% drop the next day. So maybe we see that turnaround now. So we'll keep an eye on ABX. Next, we have EEP. One other thing really quick. So basically the GLD gold, you had EGO, AGI, DDC, and ABX. Those are all gold mining outfits. That was kind of the one thing in common with them. EEP, this is an oil gas energy outfit. So it's not gold, but anyways, I'm looking for this thing. I'm thinking this is probably going to turn around and continue heading down. I don't think it's even going to meet the top of the channel. So that's what I'm watching on for that one. Geos, we talked about Geos before. I think we talked about Geos back in here, and it popped on us. And since this last week, you see it's pulled back. I don't think we covered it last week. No, I'm not seeing it. I think it was a week before. So either way, down to 2% here last week. Earnings 66 cents loss per share estimate. And earnings are coming up in less than a month, 25 days away. So, yeah, we'll see what Geos does. GSM. I am in GSM. Continuing to watch it. In fact, GSM, here's GSM. So this vertical line here, just kind of the red one, it kind of shows my day where I got in. So this was my target, and it just right on down, right to the target, and it's still moving. GSM, I have some March puts on this one, March 10 puts. So we're in the money on that one now. So let's just see this thing continue. I'd like to see that. Let's watch it come on down to sevens. And certainly if it does, I'll probably exit expecting a bounce, and then I'll probably get more in and watch it continue to fall. So that's GSM. And then the new one here, American Midstream Partners. This one just got my attention. Don't know much about this one at all. I just saw this a few minutes ago. Currently at $8.28 right now. You see there's a little bit of room in the channel here if you want to look at that. But let me draw a line here. I'm just kind of looking at what do we got. Yeah, I don't know. You can almost see a line there as well. Even though it popped through it here. You're there. Missed it. Popped through. Anyway, it's just kind of a line. So I'm really curious about this. Let's see what this does. This could come up a little bit. I don't think it'll clear 9. Yeah, in fact, what I would wait for probably is that right here. Oops. From a real true technical point, before I'd enter, I would wait for it. On the short side, I'd wait for it to cross beneath this, get underneath this line here. You can see we got some support here. And it come up and kind of popped on through again. We kind of have this. It's going to wedge here. So we might see this thing either pop on the upside or pop on the downside or break down. I'm thinking break down. Looking at the channel, looking at the company, very poorly rated fundamentally. This one's an 8 out of 100 on the fundamental score from Market Smith IBD. So not good. So if this is going to, even if you don't like that, if you just want to put this over here to support, to show the linear regression as far as the channel here, it might trade sideways, give us a little wiggle room in here, and then it's just going to drop. This could be a really good play. This could be at 8s and come on right on down to under 4s pretty quick, under 5 certainly. So this one I really like. I'm watching this one. I got a little star next to Ahmed there, American Midstream Partners. Okay. Finally, let me shoot through some other ones that I'm holding. Just very quick updates. USO puts. You can see my targets. We shot right through them. We're in the money on those, looking good. And these again, these are a lot of the positions here are the ones that did really well last week, which made my portfolio do really well because these met their targets. Not all of them, but I think most of them. Then we have Century Aluminum. You can see my red vertical line here is where I entered. Again, I bought puts, and we've just come right down thanks to last week. And again, we're not done. I still expect this thing to drop. We have earnings coming up with a 54-cent loss per share estimate in just 45 days. And I am holding this one through March. Yeah. So there's that. We have MT. You can see I've entered this a couple of times. I got in back here on the 29th and again on the 7th for a target of this box. MT, what do I have? 4 puts. So we're in the money on that one as well. So I expect that to continue to fall. As far as earnings, we're looking at 26-cent loss per share estimate in 34 days. So let that baby ride. Talked about GSM already, right? I think we did. Yep. Okay. CNX. We talked about CENX. This is CNX. We just talked about this one. Yes, we did. Okay. I'm repeating myself. Sorry. All right. Joy. We talked about Joy. Joy was a different game here. But you see, we had earnings. I was an earnings play I was kind of messing with, I think. So we beat earnings by a penny. It actually popped a little bit. But since it's just corrected and it's come right back down. So bad call on my part to play into earnings here. And, it cost me here. And I just had to kind of wait it out. And obviously we're reaching our target here now. And I believe the pricing on the option right now, I'm pretty sure I'm in the green on it. But if not, I'm really close. And I'm holding this one out through April. So I like that. Apollo. Bought right here on the vertical line. Here's the target. The box depth is nothing. I just drew it in there, whatever. But that's kind of where my target, where I wanted to see this, is break underneath this support here. And it did just that. Right there. We did break underneath that. So we could come down a little bit further. We got earnings. Ooh, look at that. Earnings 2 days. That is Monday morning. That's right. Monday morning pre-market. I think it's Monday morning pre-market, and I think Soda is the other one that might have earnings. Anyways, that's what we're looking at. So with Apollo Group, Apollo owns University of Phoenix, I believe. It's an educational school, private university. The other one that goes along with that was also triggered at the same time with this one a couple weeks ago was DeVry. Look at DeVry. Chad's playing DeVry right now. And he got in back on this day. I could go back and invest feed and see when we spoke about it. But it was not last week's video. I think it was a week before that. But he would have got in back here. Maybe even above 26, at least above 25. Not sure where we did it. And the thing is just boom. He unloaded some positions halfway down here. I think he had said, I messaged him the other day, see if he was still holding this. What an excellent move. I mean, what an incredible move this was. So I think he's still holding some positions on it, and he's got to be more than in the green on that. So I don't know if he shorted it, if he played some puts or what, but congrats to Chad on that. That's really good to hear. So I don't, what else do I have? Okay. Sorry. Okay. KMI. And this a couple times. Yeah. I'm out to June on this one on KMI. I don't know why I like to see visuals. I got no time to read half this stuff. Here's my target, and I got till June to do it. What do you think? Looking pretty good. 17-cent estimate in 11 days for Kinder. Yeah, we'll see what they do. They might come right down to here and bounce by the time they get there. I don't know. We'll see. I don't think so. ATI. That's where I got in here. Here's my target. So let it work. We got earnings coming up. Looking for a 37-cent loss on the estimate. Earnings in 10 days. So, okay, we talked about that. DSX. Okay, so this is my killer here. This is my killer. in a good way. I mean, okay, I got this way back here, right before earnings. I picked up $4 puts, January $4 puts for a nickel. And I sold, I think, right about down here for 65 cents. Is that right? So that was the 1,000% return. Or was it 55 cents? I don't know. Whatever. It's 1,000% return. That was my best gain ever. And I unloaded a bunch, obviously, by that point, playing with house money, obviously. And I've been holding it. In fact, I added some more, and this thing kind of started to bounce on me. And in fact, the option for January, again, got back down to like the nickel 10-cent range right here, even right here. And I bought more. And then I also bought some February 4s. And so since then, this went and it just tanked. So back on my original, now I'm back up to 900 and some percent on what I have remaining from this purchase. And this one, the other one I purchased here is just about in the money because I purchased it further out. Anyways, this DSX, man, this has just been the craziest one. And yeah, let me look at here. What's the earnings? Oh yeah, 23-cent loss in 52 days. So I'm not holding these out. Very short timeline here. And I really kind of lucked out that it met the targets here. Again, these short timelines, I am not for them. It just gives me too much grief. That's DSX. CVA, I just got a few left here, folks. CVA, again, got back in here. What did I get? Short time frame. Look at February's. February 15 puts. So we're on target. But, we're getting close here. And earnings is coming up right there, too. So this really can make or break the deal. So it's 15 cents earnings in 31 days. The estimate's down. What do they do? Utilities. Yeah, we'll just see. I don't know. See, okay, we talked about OCN, right? OCN, yep. There's that one. Okay, DDC. Okay, and finally the last one, soda. Gosh. Soda I got in back here, and so did Ryder. Ryder played this one. We talked about this on the weekend video, not last weekend, but the weekend before, I believe. We come up to the 200-day here. I was kind of watching it, and then Ryder tweeted me about this. I believe this was on Monday. New Year's Eve? No, I don't know when it was. New Year's Eve. Big movement. He got in it, and I saw it, and then I said, hey, I'm going to get in it. I bought a little bit. Not a lot of money. In fact, by that point in the markets, I had pretty much had all my cash out playing on the market right now. Okay. Just a few weeks earlier, I was probably holding about 50% holdings and 50% cash. I've been moving a lot, and the timing couldn't have been better. And I didn't have a lot of money. In fact, for soda, they bought options that were cheap. What I buy? They're 16 cents. What I buy? Probably it's $100. 7? I don't know. 5, 6, 7 contracts. Not a lot. It's up 900% right now, or 700%. Some crazy number. 16 cents, and I want to say it's like, I don't know what it is now. Some crazy number. But you could see, look at that action. This thing is just took a dump. And what's kind of good for short side is that we've closed beneath the support there. If you really kind of look closely here, again, I play the bodies. So we failed that right there. So a lot of volume here. I mean, what a pop here, but linear regression is running upward right here. If it wasn't for this right here, this would be downward sloping. And that's what I'm looking at. Because I'm not sure what happened back there, but I'm looking at, let's draw this right here. See what happens. Okay, something like that. I tell you what, you start drawing on charts and start drawing support and resistance. It's just amazing how this stuff works out. I don't know why it's absolutely not 100% predictable sometimes. Anyways, yeah, so that's soda. So that's the last one. That's all I've got going right now. But you can see on the bearish side, the markets have just been incredible. Just this week. Yeah, definitely blessed. And we'll see what happens. You know, I don't always root for the markets to go down. I play the charts. And so when I'm bearish, it doesn't mean I want the world to end and I want all the markets and all of our currency to go to crap. Not at all. You know, I have other interests long. You know, I have my retirement. I have family investments and other things that are long. And so, I mean, it's really just an offset, you know. When the markets are down, I might make money over here, but people I know and love are losing money over there. It's not good, but I'm not going to sit there and just trade one direction because everybody else is either. So, yeah. Well, that's that. All right. Where are we? Here we are. Okay. Well, folks, that's today's video. A lot of stocks we talked about. Go on over to Invest Feed. I want to say hello and thanks to the new subscribers over there. And I will continue to post. And we'll see what happens this next week. And again, I'm not bearish all the time. Once I see some new highs and some movement, you know, my sentiment will change. And once I see that the market is bullish again, then we'll move that direction. But right now, we're not looking that way. And I've been bearish since June 19th, actually. So that's that. All right, folks, have a good day. Get out from under the computers, go out and enjoy life, be with family and friends. Enjoy it while we have it. Enjoy the freedom while we have it. And hey, and the other thing is, I'm looking. We're gonna probably be out traveling here quite a bit here in the next few weeks. And so, if anybody is, I try to reach out on Twitter to see if we had any friends, subscribers, friends, anybody in Japan, anybody in Central America. I'm looking to do some traveling, and I'd love to meet up and have a cold one with you. So, if anybody's out there and you're in an area, say hello to me, and maybe one day I'll make it out there to see you and we can meet up, have a drink, and talk stocks. I'd like that. So thank you very much. Have a wonderful day, and we'll talk to you later, folks. Bye.